rice. Now we bring in palm oil into this country.
Well, let me ask Prof that question. So, Prof, how do we bring science in this whole essence? Now, he's talking about mechanization. So it seems there isn't enough mechanization.
Definitely, we don't have sufficient mechanization. And it's because we have not really moved from small to medium and to large scale level of production in agriculture. Because there's what we call some economies of scale by the time you use tractors and you use machines. But rather than pulling the resources together, which can now permit such economies of scale, people have been moving away from cooperative societies. People have been moving away from group farms. So it's where we really encourage the source communal production that we can really enhance that. And of course, we have various land tenure rigidities. You know, people say that, oh, this land belongs to my father, this one belongs to my grandfather, and therefore cannot be touched. Until when sufficient programs are put in place, that land can be easily released. We use between 35 and 40% of our land in this country, arable land. And so the other areas of land are just lying fallow. But with improved technology, we can continually cultivate, just as Brazil is doing, just as, of course, other developed countries are doing, like Germany, like Britain. You know, given if you look at the level of fertilizer utilization in this country, it's so low as compared with those emerging economies such as China, such as Brazil, or developed economies such as Germany, such as USA, such as Britain.
Now, should policies, be enacted for mechanization? Really, should that really be?
I think
it's not just policy.
It's not just policy.
Yes.
You cannot shave my head in my absence. Mm-hmm. How can you shave my hair in my absence? How can I be in the field and the man deciding for me does not own a farm even in his backyard to understand what I go through? We came in here, there is 10 billion naira that somebody is putting in on cassava. What it takes you to grow cassava is what it takes you to look after a pregnant woman for 9 months. Here is a 9-month-old crop. What is happening to wheat? That is 145 days. What is happening to beans? Which is our day-to-day activities. Beans is the primary source of protein. Don't forget one thing, that a child who fails to eat adequate good food between the age of 1 and 6 has lost 26% of his IQ potentiality. What we are discussing here is critical. I can do without good roads. I can do without here. No, but I cannot do without food.
No, but if you grow your food and you're unable to transport it, well, that's a problem too.
We're saying here,
what can really be done?
What we're saying here at the moment is that the agricultural policy here should have our cultural activities. We must recognize one community, one product. You must give credence. Government should de-emphasize on having subsidies on fertilizer and began to have subsidies on what the farmer has finished production. We have over 72,000 crates of eggs glut in Kaduna. Shortly after the fasting, the Muslim brothers finished their fasting. Egg is everywhere in the market. Egg has dropped to 550 naira per crate, but the price of maize has not dropped from 8,500 naira a bag. Soya and maize is what is required for any good poultry production. Government must find a way to keep farmers at the farm gate. I should have no business in trying to look for who will buy my crops after production. These are the things we are looking at for here. Our president, with the Honorable Minister for Agric, went to Malawi. Malawi is not up to Zaria to look at cassava bread and look at cassava wine and all that there. That's not our priority. What we are looking is, how do 180 million people eat good food? Not just food, but good food. That's what we need.
What can really be done is that, one, the government should really go back to restructuring the ADP, Agricultural Development Programs, in terms of technology transfer, in terms of now encouraging them to purchase certain inputs at reduced prices. Because we can't say that we won't subsidize anything, because the cost of production is becoming so high vis-a-vis these farmers now expanding. These are resource poor farmers. you still need to subsidize in a way so that they can be encouraged to purchase these improved inputs so that they can increase their level of production.
Well, Professor, you are in the education sector. Yes. What is the education system actually doing? Because he had mentioned that when you talk about farmers now, you look at people who are about the age of 60, 50. We don't have the youths really participating. You find out that most youth would prefer to leave the rural area and come to the urban area in search of white-collar job. Why is it so? What is the education system, doing about that? Because I remember some time ago, while I was in primary school, we are taught to farm. For those of us doing agricultural science, you have your own portion of land, and it gives you joy doing that, not because of perhaps you want to get marked, but, you see your products grow. It gives you joy that you're able to grow your corn, you're able to grow, your yam and all that. So what is the educational system doing?
Well, in the first place, there have been many changes in the structure of education in this country. Particularly so when the private sector has dwelled into the educational sector. And so they are not so much interested in the issue of farming in the primary and secondary schools, particularly the private schools. But if you still look at the public primary schools, public secondary schools, they still do such, but not up to that level that we used to have during our own time. But there are some universities of agriculture now, particularly my own University of Agriculture and two other universities of agriculture. We normally admit about 60% for agri programs, and we have areas of land for this. But we don't have sufficient fund in the various universities to now go into practical agriculture. And that's why, for instance, our own Federal University of Agriculture, we now locate to the four divisions of Ogun State, for instance, whereby we practice agriculture and move close to the farmers. But the issue is that when the World Bank Assistance Program ADP came into being between 1985 and 1995, we don't have sufficient incentives for continuation. And so many people have left agriculture. And we need to now encourage people to go back into farming. And three main things that they might talk about: one, the issue of land; two, the issue of credit; and of course, three, the issue of technology,
Professor,
which are necessary.
Well, it's a pity we really don't have much time, but I guess it's an ongoing discussion. We'll keep talking about it, and I believe the government will, perhaps listen. And of course, to you, don't worry. I'm sure everything will be okay.
I can see his passion.
Yes.
And it's really good to have such level of passion to increase the level of production in this country.
Oh, it's okay. I've been talking with Professor Okune, an agricultural economist from the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and Shedrach Madlion, a farmer from Kaduna. He is the Executive Director, Admiral Agricultural and Environmental Care.